intermission time. It's great to get out to the movies.
So that was the last film I watched in cinemas.
Okay, what about streaming?
Streaming at home, without pulling it up, I think it was In the Mood for Love.
Oh, a rewatch?
A rewatch, for sure.
Okay.
I was inspired by someone, actually, who was going to see it at Vidiots at their new programming, but I just chucked it on. I think it's on Criterion, and it was just, it's one of those ones that you can put on because the soundtrack fucking rips, and it's like, you're like, oh, I'll just put this on as background music, and then we just end up watching it because, it's one of the best movies ever made. So.
It's so beautiful. I've rewatched it recently.
I don't think anyone has ever looked more beautiful on film than Maggie Cheung in that film.
Her outfits, her makeup, her hair, everything is perfect.
Everything's perfect.
I envy someone who is so done up on the day-to-day.
Oh, yeah.
I could never.
Absolutely not me. Absolutely not me, clearly right now. But her and Tony Leung's smoking, I'm like, I want to take up smoking now.
Sexy.
It just, it's perfect. So that, I think, was the last thing that I watched at home.
Good. I wish, when someone asks me that, I wish I could recall. I feel like my memory is always such a blur of all the content I'm consuming that it's so hard for me to reference the last thing I saw.
Honestly, using Letterboxd, I think, that you get that serotonin boost from logging something or liking something or creating a list on there that I surprisingly really love. So it feels like that little reward you're getting, which I think is the only thing that has helped me remember anything that I watch.
Yeah, that's true.
Just obsessively listing and, logging everything. As soon as the credits roll, I'm like that Twitter meme you see where someone's like, oh, I saw that person, log it on Letterboxd during the credits rolling, actual footage of me.
Yeah.
Every time.
I do that as well. I remember I was late to Letterboxd, and when I was using a different kind of janky app, I hadn't heard of Letterboxd. And so when then I got it, I spent an entire night, didn't go to sleep. I was just obsessingly adding every movie I've ever seen.
Yeah. And because you go to a director and you're like, I've seen all of these. What haven't I seen? It becomes a rabbit hole of just adding things to your list. What was the last thing you watched?
I'm trying. Yeah, so this is
get on your list. Check it out.
I've been bad about logging things. Is the thing. Let's see. Let's pull it up. I'm thinking TV because I was just watching Black Mirror. In theaters, the last thing I saw was You Hurt My Feelings.
Oh,
which I liked. And
yeah.
I liked it. I thought it reminds me of those classic indie movies where it's kind of nonchalant. The highs aren't that high, the lows aren't that low.
Yeah.
It's a relatable concept. I'm someone who gets their feelings hurt. I could totally. See myself in that scenario. It was good. It wasn't great. I don't think anyone was going into that movie being like, this is amazing.
For sure.
I watched it alone, though, at the Los Feliz Theater, and it was a lovely afternoon.
That's what you, sometimes that's all you want. You don't need to,
That's what I wanted out of it.
Yeah, not every movie you watch is going to be your next favorite movie. Sometimes it is, which is what's really fucking cool about film. But, sometimes you just go for the experience of it, right? I love going to the cinema, especially by myself.
Yeah.
And sitting in there on an afternoon where there's no one else around. that the people aren't going to be on their phones and you're just, having that moment to yourself. It is, the version of going to church. I'm an atheist, but that's what it, that's the closest thing I have.
I'm religious about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was my last movie, in theaters. I think streaming, it must have been a documentary because I watch a lot of documentaries when I'm just at home.
Yeah.
Because I'm so bad at, I'll listen to documentary, watch, and I listen and I'll do stuff.
It's like a podcast, I find, with documentaries. Unless it's something that's visually changing the world, then you just can scroll on your phone.
Yeah, exactly. How do you feel about walk-and talking robots like replicants? What are your thoughts?
Fuck. Okay. It's tough because it's where we're moving towards, right? I'm hoping that I'm at the bottom of the kill list for them because I'm not, maybe the kind of person that they're trying to. It depends, really. Fuck me. Are we getting Terminator style? Are we getting Blade Runner style? What is the scope of the robot that we're having here? Right?
Wherever your head goes, what do you think is the most likely case scenario?
100% Terminator.
Okay.
They're going to take over and we're going to be fucked.
Okay.
For sure. Like it's already kind of like a little bit happening.
Do you have a game plan? How are you gonna?
No way.
Okay, no game plan.
I
hide.
It's the same shit with like the zombie apocalypse. I'm like, I'm not lasting long. Like without the internet, without like being able to download stuff onto my Kindle, it's just like I'm not long for this.
The Wi-Fi is out. You're fucked.
Yeah, like food and showers. As soon as like the robots take over, I'm like, I don't want to be here. You know.
I feel that. I feel that deeply. In my heart of hearts, I think I'm the survivor, the warrior. But that's just
girl.
That's
like,
just me daydreaming.
It's not. I know I'm not. I know for sure that it's not going to happen for me.
Would you care if your favorite movie was made by AI?
Yeah. It wouldn't be my favorite movie.
And why?
Okay, so we have to talk about what my favorite movie is of all time, which is Moonstruck.
Okay.
Nicolas Cage,
beautiful movie.
the most romantic, comedic, just like nuanced New York film you can have of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would be able to be not only written by AI, but then imagine getting a performance out of someone like Nicolas Cage in Moonstruck.
Uh-huh.
I don't think he would.
Well, he wouldn't buy
in a
into
movie like that.
Yeah.
So then you're not going to get it.
What if the actors didn't know?
Oh.
Because like writing now with AI and the whole chat GPT, like coming up with some great stuff.
Are they?
I think.
Are they though? I mean, look, we can go down this rabbit hole if you really want to. But I also think that there is just it's a split between, I'm a big believer of like it with not only AI writing, AI art, AI creation of everything. It's like it's an art, and the people that create that art and consume that art are never going to go away because we're always going to be here loving and supporting it. But there are going to be people that are going to want to easily consume stuff that they don't have to care about the labor that goes into that, or they don't have to care about the fact that people are losing their jobs inside of these other jobs, right? But I think at the end of the day, like the true like lovers of art and things that get created. I hate using the word content in that space because it makes it feel a bit more transactional than like art, which is what I think it is. But I don't think that that AI will be the only thing that will exist.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. And also I feel like anyone who's an advocate for film is obviously going to be adverse to AI written films.
And I mean, did you see the stuff that was circulating with like it was like Succession by Wes Anderson, like made by AI, right? But it kind of misses the point. It misses the point that like what he creates is so unique and has so much thoughtful curation to all the little individual things. Like if you watch any like behind the scenes of any of his films, you'll see that like the production designers make and design everything for all of the like packaging in the bakery and like the wallpaper on the walls. And, you know, it's so in the detail that AI is not going to get. It's not going to understand the reason why. It's just going to kind of go, well, this kind of looks like this and we're going to put it here, and it's going to be kind of like some mash of like the 50s and space age and, you know, make it look what they think it is. But it doesn't have a conscience to know why it is that way.
Exactly. I feel like the AI content that's coming out now is more commentary versus creating out of thin air.
Of course. Yeah. It's just kind of like stuck together. You know, it's like when you see those like, it's like a collage of maybe some stuff that is cool looking for a second, but underneath the hood, I think you'd be far pressed to get like a good piece of content that's 90 minutes long that you could watch in a cinema that has sound and like gives you that like goosebumpy feeling. I don't think a robot or a machine is going to do that yet.
And also
maybe it could.
How could you get like heart out of a story, like a love story, if there was no literal heart in the creation of making the story?
And like, haven't you seen that stuff where like the AIs come out and are like, I don't want to do this. Like this is, you know, and you're kind of like, it gets dark really quickly when they start thinking, air quotes here, like about what it is that they're creating.
Scary shit.
It's real scary shit.
What if Goddard was a replicant? Would that make him less cool?
I don't think so.
Really? I'm surprised you're saying that based off of...
but like, would that be part of the shtick? Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Like maybe that is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think my train of thought as of this conversation is fuck AI. So that's...
I agree.
Not cool.
I agree. But hey, maybe that was like a time and space where it wasn't an AI.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was like a programmed
Yeah.
robot replicant style from someone else. You know, like I'm thinking like Man Behind the Curtain, Wizard of Oz type shit.
Mm-hmm.
And Godard was just the face of it.
That's a good metaphor.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm thinking Pixar, they're probably taking advantage of this AI nonsense currently. What do you think their next movie would be if they're taking advantage of AI?
For Pixar?
Yeah.
Taking advantage of AI, like what's the current thing that like kids are concerned about now, right? Because I think it's just like the themes.
Mm-hmm.
What are the current themes? So it's probably going to be like some, I mean, no one wants to tread on the toes right now of like everything that's going on, especially in America with like pride and gay rights and like children and, you know, everything that's happening in that space there. That's the most topical thing right now. Is AI going to write some story about some, you know, child discovering their gender dysphoria? Like Pixar ain't going to touch that shit. But it's probably the most topical thing that if AI is going to create some kind of children
based
content,
off of
it's
news.
probably it's probably going to be in that space, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
I mean, when I think about Pixar and AI and like where the world's going, I think a lot about WALL-E. Like WALL-E's the one that I keep coming back to. I'm like, we're living in this world. Like people plugged in with their like supersized drinks.
Big old hamburger.
Exactly, right? And then there's just like some gorgeous divine little robot cleaning up all the shit we left behind. You know, like that I feel like was made like 10, 15 years ago. And it's like so relevant now because like everyone just is like happy to just be plugged in somewhere, right?
Yeah, that movie blew me away. I did not see that pivot coming.
No way. That was like, you know, I was like a
Deep.
twist. I was like, what is this old boy twist they're throwing at me, right?
That was a twist for sure. I want to ask you a few questions. I'm going to name some directors.
Sure.
And I want to see what you think of these directors if they were fashion brands.
Okay. This is a good one.
David Fincher.
David Fincher gives me like Andy Muller-Meester vibes because it's very the color scheme.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sofia Coppola.
Sofia Coppola, I think, is like a Miu Miu girly through and through. But then she also is like a kind of, you know, is it maybe if we were thinking like now, like if I were a Sofia Coppola making Virgin Suicides now, I'd probably be wearing like Daisy or like Heaven by Marc Jacobs, right? But she's definitely a Miu Miu girl.
Yeah.
Through and through.
I see that. David Cronenberg.
Cronenberg is a really good one, and I would probably say it'd be something like a Schiaparelli or, you know, even like a Mugler, like just, you know, like body horror style aesthetic. I mean, it just goes hand in hand, right?
Wong Kar-wai.
Wong Kar-wai is a tough one for me because I think when you look at something like Chungking Express, again, you have that kind of like, is it more like youthful, like younger style, like even like I said, like the Heaven Marc Jacobs, but then you've got In the Mood for Love, which I can't even categorize because I can't even think of designers that had anything to do with that, right? Maybe it's like archival Prada, like 90s Prada style.
Yeah, Prada
you know?
seems right.
Yeah.
Prada seems right.
I think so. I also think that like Prada was inspired for a collection by In the Mood for Love. Like it was definitely on the mood board.
Greta Gerwig.
Greta Gerwig is like a Gorman girl. I don't know if you know Gorman. Gorman's like an Australian brand and it's very like not pop culture, but it's very poppy. It looks like the kind of girl that goes to like Mocha and MoMA on the weekends. Like she's into art. You know, she's always carrying a tote
kind of
bag.
vibrant or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Greta Gerwig is a Gorman girl for sure.
Okay, I'll
she's
have to
wearing
look it up.
clogs and like like a long dress. That's definitely the vibe there.
Kind of, to me, I'm thinking like, you know, Ghani. Is it like Ghani?
Yes, totally like Ghani.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm picturing.
Yeah.
Wachowski sisters.
Okay, this is a good one too because this is kind of like cyberpunk vibes, right?
Oh,
so like
yeah.
I don't think it's any brand at all. I think it's all fucking DIY. Like it's just
they're like getting their shit on eBay and it's all
100%. It's like Depop through and through.
Yeah,
it's
Depop.
like I'm DIYing absolutely everything. Like buy the safety pins and you know I'm putting this through like an acid bleach wash.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I mean that and also like a little bit old Miu Miu because I did buy a leather trench coat that was like a vintage Miu Miu trench coat that is exactly like a Matrix trench coat.
Oh,
So,
that's
like,
dope. That's hot.
Yeah. Yeah. I was very inspired. So
Oh,
there's slivers of that there as well.
Cool. Jim Jarmusch.
Jim Jarmusch. I think Jim Jarmusch is like a little Acne Studios,
Okay.
which is what I'm wearing now.
Oh, are you?
Oh, yeah.
I love Acne.
Me too.
Every Acne store is just a breath of fresh air to me.
Yeah, it's really cool. They have really cool stuff. Like, not only the design style of the stores is really cool, but the people that work there are also like.
Yeah, every time I enter the store,
Everyone are
I
like,
love to shoot the shit
cool.
with them. Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah, I want to go in and impress them. You know.
Yeah, but like the thing about like a Jim Jarmusch film is that you look at it and you're like, oh, I love those boots. I love those pants. And then if you were to find them, you'd be like, yeah, they are $500. Like, what the fuck? Like, they're not just from the thrift, right?
Yeah,
They're like
yeah.
expensive. You know, it's like that kind of like, you know, spend a lot of money to look cheap kind of thing.
Yeah, stealth wealth.
Mm-hmm, totally.
Okay, now I'm gonna do the flip and say brands, and then see if a director comes to mind.
Sure.
Balenciaga.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So are we talking like old Balenciaga or are we talking like new Balenciaga?
I'm gonna say new Balenciaga. It's a little more.
Okay, so who's the director that I just think is trash?
New Balenciaga is been through the shit storm.
Totally.
Who do you think is? Who do you think is trash?
I mean,
I love to hear people's hot takes.
I mean, did Sam Levinson direct? Can I call him out now?
Yeah, he can. Yes,
like
he can be.
Trash,
Yeah,
like
that's a
trash
perfect,
garbage.
perfect pairing.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeezy.
Oh God, did I speak too soon about the trash
It can be
garbage?
too, it
But
can
like,
be
come
too.
on. But like style wise, Yeezy, I can't even think of something that was just like empty and vacuous that I've watched. I try not to watch too much trash. That's absolutely a lie. But like, what would you think for Yeezy?
And now that we're on the topic of trash, I'm thinking like, but we're talking movies, but I'm thinking more reality TV style.
Yeah,
but
totally.
I don't know
like
directors.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
I don't know directors
right?
in that
Like,
world.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Keeping Up with the
Yeah.
Kardashians is pretty on the nose.
Yeah.
Chanel.
I mean, Chanel could maybe be. I think I'm just thinking like movies more so than directors because it's hard.
Okay,
for
let's do a
someone to have
movie.
direct. I mean, when I think of Chanel, all I think of is Spencer with
Oh,
K. Stu.
yeah.
Like it's just immediately what I go to.
Yeah.
because she was wearing Chanel, but also because
Classy.
like K. Stu is a Chanel girl, so
Yeah.
like that is just so defining all those costumes. In
I
there.
love. Is she like? Does she have a deal with Chanel?
Yeah, I think she's an ambassador for them.
Ambassador.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she's worn them for years.
Yeah,
now.
that makes sense. People always talk about what is her name? Margot Robbie, like on Twitter, because whoever her stylist is or whatever ambassador deal she has, it's just not great.
Yeah,
And
Kate Young must hate her. Her
Yeah,
stylist must
exactly.
just hate her
Yeah, because
she's
her-
never dressed well.
it's so unfortunate because she's such a
She's
bombshell.
so beautiful.
and every red carpet, her outfits are just like
It's
this
like-
could have been something.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time. It's a shame.
Yeah.
Hopefully she will get there eventually. She'll get out of that deal and she started wearing couples, I think like on the press tour for Babylon a little bit, she was wearing like the Row and Totem and she looked really cool because it's like you don't need to be wearing like sad Chanel dresses
Yeah.
all the time.
That-
you can wear a jean and a boot, girl. It's fine.
I don't know if this was the press for Babylon, that like blue kind of satin looking dress with the red.
Yeah, and that was archival Versace as
I
well.
liked
So
that
like
a lot.
it's like she wasn't wearing Chanel. Like what's more of a pivot
Yeah.
than wearing Versace, right? And
Yeah.
she looked incredible in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Let her look young and hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is everyone so afraid to
I
let
think
Margot
they're-
Robbie be hot?
I think they're intimidated.
I think they are too.
What director do you think would make a good fashion designer?
Because of how into the different genres they get into, I'm leaning towards like a Paul Thomas Anderson.
Okay.
Because like he, you know, if you look at all of his different films, they're so different. And I think that there's something to being able to like express visually what your story is through those different eras, right?
Mhm.
Like Licorice Pizza was just like this, like it feels like a California
Groovy.
fever dream, right?
Yeah.
But then like Phantom Thread was like literally like working in like one of the old fashioned houses. So I would like to see year over year, although like I don't think he's like personally stylish. But he probably just looks like a dag in real life.
Yeah. But those are two movies with such different tastes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Phantom Thread's so good. Actually, I was just thinking of rewatching it because it
so
popped
stunning.
up on, I think, on like a streaming service.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just a really sweet love story where she just wants to, make him feel a little bit bad so she can make him feel good.
This episode of Intermission is brought to you by Arch Nicholson's Fortress.
One phone call with 9 kids. They won't store all the money will come floating from the bloody sky.
We're going on a picnic.
The terrorists, the children, the teacher, players in a deadly game of hide and seek.
I'm getting closer. Don't run away.
We've got to fight them. We outnumber them 4-1. We'll let them know what it's like to be frightened.
We'll get those dirty rascals. We'll get the dirty rascals.
Coming to a screen near you in the year 1985. Date with Travis Bickle or Patrick Bateman?
It's like, okay, so like aesthetically, it's definitely Travis Bickle because like I fuck with a young De Niro, like big time.
An army jacket.
Like young Bobby, forget about it. But like Patrick Bateman is going to take you somewhere nice for dinner. He's going to pick you up in a nice car. Like sure, he might kill you, but like that's kind of the threat we all live in going on dates as women in this world. So like I don't want to go hang out at Travis Bickle's like, no top sheet on his bed on the mattress.
You're
on
at
the
a
floor.
dive bar.
It's just like I've been through that in my life. So like I'm fine. Bateman, take me to Nobu and,
wine and dine you.
Yeah, right? Who's your pick?
I would say the exact same thing, but it's like I'm a dive bar girl at heart, but I can do that whenever I want. I want to be wined and dined.
Yeah.
I want Bateman to send a dress to my apartment and be like, wear this, see you at 9.
Yeah, like here's some money to get your nails done.
Yeah, a dream.
Like totally. But like if you look like Travis Bickle, sure. I'm fine with that.
This is a question I love asking. Have you ever lied about watching a movie?
All the time. Like the things we will do to just impress loser guys with no top sheets is beyond.
No bed frame.
No bed frame. Maybe showers a couple times, but like,
refills
definitely.
an Aesop soap with just CVS generic
just Dawn.
Soap. Yeah.
Yes,
Just
definitely have lied about films having been watched. But I also think I've always been really good at eventually catching up with it too.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to think of something that I definitely lied about, and it was probably something like a Kubrick film.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I've seen 2001.
Mm-hmm.
And then gone and been like,
Flip your
shit, I
hair.
have to spend 3 hours and been like, oh, okay, like I get it now, because I also don't like being bested. So I think anytime anyone's asked and I've lied, I've just gone and been like, okay, I'm going to go watch this now.
Yeah, because you don't want to be made to look like a fool.
No. But I will definitely pivot the conversation pretty quickly if I haven't seen something that I think. You also get to an age where I think you know what the discourse that people are talking about certain things without you having to actually have seen them. So sometimes it's just about like, okay, yeah, I've finally seen this thing and I'm checking it off my list.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
What have you lied about?
Oh, well, especially with this podcast, I've been trying my best to be really frank. Like before we record an episode, like we'll look at the questions and I'm like, okay, guys, like I don't know what this is.
Yeah, you'll have. Who?
But so like in this setting, I'm pretty frank. I would say in life, one movie that comes to mind, let me think if I can like name one specifically.
Also, like I think maybe sometimes I've told myself the lie as well. Like, no, I've seen that.
Yeah, and you're just
like
convincing
really,
yourself.
I'm like, I'm fucking seen it. Like, have
I think I lied about It. I hadn't seen It.
Oh yeah.
For like a very long time. That comes to mind. Just like kind of like those movies that are like staples and I'm like, I'm sure I'll watch it.
Yeah, eventually we'll get there.
I don't feel like being shamed right now.
No.
Like someone giving you a big speech about like, you haven't seen it?
What do you mean you haven't seen, The Shining?
Yeah.
It's like, that's horrific. And, like, I haven't been in the mood. I have. But like, sometimes you just are not there yet.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
What are your thoughts on the Oscar awards as a whole? Yay or nay?
I love the awards, but I've loved them since I was a little kid.
Yeah,
like
same.
I used to watch them with like my mom and my sister, and we've, like I remember I've held an Oscar and done a fake speech, right? Like I've acted it out before, and I still to this day get really, really emotional about especially speeches. Like I can't help it. I love seeing people be awarded by their peers for doing a good job and for, some of the things that you really love and you really root for. I have a list on my phone that is called the crying log of 2023. And I'm not a big crier.
I have a crying list too.
We should go through it. Maybe that's a different podcast, right? You and me going through like all the ways we've cried. But most of them are movies and TV and things like that. The thing that made me cry the most this year was watching Key from Everything Everywhere All at Once accept awards for his role, because it was just like such a beautiful recognition, and his speeches were so beautiful, and
he
like
cried.
He cried and I cried and the dogs cried. We're all fucking crying, and I think that like there's something really sweet about film lovers getting together and doing that, but nothing makes me more infuriated as well. Like the biggest snub a couple years ago was when Nicolas Cage didn't get nominated for Pig, and it's like,
oh, you loved Pig?
Loved Pig.
Okay.
Like I love Cage, but like I loved Pig. And there's some things that you think are like, I'm a real movie lover and I can't believe this didn't get nominated, So I think you have to take it with a grain of salt too when you're like a diehard movie fan, because you're like, that was a political choice, not actually the right choice. So my husband and I actually do our own Oscar ballot, but we don't, a lot of places will do like, what's the, who do you guess is going to win? And I find that to be pretty boring, because you can kind of figure out who's going to win based off all the other awards that happen. Like there's not really a lot of surprises, but we do like, if we were voting, who would we vote for?
Yeah.
And that kind of makes the night a bit more fun, feeling like you're a bit a part of it. But it's tough, because I think this year is the first year there'll be a lot of changes to the awards, right? There will be more changes to the type of diversity in film, the type of films that get made, and what the story is about. So like, I think we'll see like a really interesting like cohort of films that get nominated next year. So I'm like really excited about that.
I agree with the process of like, I love the act of printing it out and making my own guesses.
Checking
it's
it
so
off.
fun. I used to do that growing up with my dad and my sister.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling.
It's definitely like the one awards night that I get like the most jazz for. Like I'm watching the red carpet and I'm like, there's not like, we've got to have dinner prepared so we can watch it all. And like I used to, I used to watch it back home in the middle of the day, because like in Oz, it's airing live and it's like the middle of the day. So like you're at work and you're like watching it at work with like all of your peers.
That's fun. Like it's like a sports game or something.
Totally.
Fun.
So it's like, it's pretty fun that you kind of can, I think it's like a pretty global experience too, right?
Yeah. Oh, what film do I remind you of so far?
This is a really good one.
I didn't come up with this question, but I liked it too.
Yeah. Did you watch that movie that was, what was it? I can't even remember the name of it now. Had Maya Hawke in it. It was the Netflix one. It was kind of like Heathers inspired, but like kind of modern.
It's like them in high school, and it did really well.
Yeah. It's got my girl from Riverdale in it.
Yeah, I never watched Riverdale, but I know what you're talking about. What is that called? Should I just look it up?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Also, you're totally giving me Blue Crush vibes with that tan.
My tan.
Like, girl, you've been surfing or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty dark right now. I'm proud of it. Okay, so Do Revenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm giving Do Revenge.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
It was just the first thing I thought of.
My youthful spirit.
What do you think? What is the film that you would say tells someone the most about your personality?
Ooh, that's such a good question.
You're welcome.
About my personality.
Like if you had to just give me like an idea, or anyone else, as to like who you are, what is that movie?
Okay, let's see.
And why?
I want the movie to be fun and spontaneous. Let me look at my letterbox. This is such a fun question. I'm going to ask everyone this. Oh, but I got logged out of my letterbox. Okay, so no, I'm just really going to have to think about it. I want, you know what came to mind? I'm not going to say that. Give me a sec. I need to have this in my back pocket.
It's a good one. I think about this a lot.
I am going to say this is, after this episode, I'm going to have 10 other ideas.
Yeah.
But what came
You
to
can
mind
change it
is
like week on week.
Legally Blonde.
I love that.
Because I like that she is like a girl's girl. She's fun and she's also kicking ass.
Yeah.
And she's goal oriented and she gets her law degree.
Yeah.
And I don't think people underestimate me, but just I'm very goal oriented.
Yeah.
And I think most people, if they don't know that about me, I would say look to Legally Blonde.
I love that. Also, Elle Woods, she's a Gemini vegetarian and her dog's name's Bruiser and she has that beautiful closet and it's just
a dream.
She's an icon. I think we're getting like a third one.
There might already be 3.
Oh, there's another one.
Okay.
We're going to get another one.
I've always loved in her video where she's applying to law school. She's like, filming her in different scenes and there's the scene of her in the pool and she's wearing the cutest.
In the bikini?
Yeah.
In the sparkly bikini.
Yeah. I've always wanted
can you tell me what was on like last week's episode of Days of Our Lives? And she just like knows all the plot points. Icon.
Mother.
Big time.
What movie would you say, personality wise?
So it's not like mine is Crash by Cronenberg.
Okay.
Which is a really interesting choice. I'm hearing like laughs because it's not necessarily like what I'd put in my top 4 on Letterboxd, but I think it is the movie that when I tell people that I love that movie, they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're a certain type of person.
Yeah.
And I love like weird, sexy movies.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's afraid to be sexy and movies are afraid to have sex in them. And I think Cronenberg's Crash is just like fucking sexy and cool and weird. And it's just everything I would just aspire to be.
I love that. I'm probably going to watch it tonight.
You should.
Okay.
You should. It's a great one.
Okay. I love that. Sexy movie, sexy vibes. I'm getting
like
sexy vibes from you.
Thanks. I mean, I'm not trying to, but it's just
No,
like
you're exuding.
What's cool, what feels sexy, and what is the aspirational, and it really is just like sexy car crash scenes in Crash.
Hot, love it.
So hot.
Do you think movies are better at nighttime?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Always.
I agree.
It's just more of I just feel like movies are like nighttime and books are daytime.
Yes.
Yes. I'm definitely more of a nighttime person, but like I don't go crazy for reading at night. I prefer to read in the day, like in the sun and like,
I feel that way about wine. White wine's for the day, red wine's for night.
Yeah.
Red wine, movie, fireplace, nighttime, cozy vibes.
Also like, you've got like, it's like there's something to be said for like a midnight session of something, like going to the cinema and watching something late and coming out at some absurd hour.
Yeah.
Like it just feels more of a nighttime activity.
Have you been to midnight showings of movies? Like the premieres?
I have never been to like a midnight session. I don't think I could stay awake till 3 a.m. watching a movie. I've probably the latest session I'd go to would be like a 10:45 max.
Okay.
But like a midnight screening, I
love them.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I have like a memory of going to see Scott Pilgrim with my mom and my sister.
That had a midnight launch? That's wild.
And it was so cute. I don't know why me and my mom and my sister went. It was like a funny little thing we all did.
That's cute.
And my dad loves movies. And I don't know, the midnight movie was always a thing we'd like wear I haven't done it since I was like a kid.
Yeah,
wear my PJs
really cute,
and like make it a thing.
That's super cute.
Yeah.
I definitely, I was living in New York up until last year and it's a big thing there, like midnight screenings, especially of like rep films. I think they do like midnight Rocky Horrors and things like that. But like when it ends at fucking 3 a.m. and then you got to get on the subway and ride for an hour to get home, it's like, I'll be in bed.
That's not the vibe.
It's not for me. It's not, especially like a lot of the stuff I think that comes out is like they're 2.5, 3 hour movies. I'm too tired for that shit. I got stuff to do on Sunday.
Agree to disagree.
You're just like midnight movie family time. I love that. I love
just
that.
A little fun.
Yeah, you're just like, why not? Okay, what about movie marathons? Are those a thing here? Because like back home,
like at the theater,
yeah, like I think they did. I remember back in my youth, there was definitely ones for like the Twilight.
I was about to say I've seen the Twilight Saga in a theater.
All of them? You did the marathon?
I think it was it was definitely 2, maybe 3. And then it's so funny. The movies I'm referencing on this episode are making me out to be like a really niche type of person.
Legally Blonde, Twilight, Scott Pilgrim versus, hey.
It's funny because every episode different movies come up and are fresh in my mind. But I went actually semi-recently in San Francisco. I was at the Balboa Theater, which is in the Richmond district. I'm getting really specific if anyone listening lives in San Francisco. But they did a Twilight night. And I'm not really a big fan. But
You're not a Twihard?
No, but a girl that I was with is truly obsessed. And she got like a group of us together, and I thought it was like a cute thing, and they did like trivia before the movie, and I thought it was cute.
That's fun.
Yeah, like I love when things feel like an event.
Yeah, totally.
So have you done a marathon?
No.
Okay.
That sounds like hell to me.
Really?
Yeah, like but then I say that, and then it's like I've sat at home and watched like
you'd rather
all the
be in your
Star
couch.
Wars back to back, like I've done that before. I've done like the extended edition Lord of the Rings in one sitting, like, but going to a cinema and I think being around other people for that long would kind of irk me a little bit for sure. And the stale smell of popcorn after a while is like not for me.
Interesting. I could like wear it as a perfume.
You would have loved this like 12 o'clock session today of Asteroid City because that place stunk of like just the stale popcorn perfume.
I could make a tear come down my face just out of love. It's beautiful.
Talking about cinemas though, are you like a cinema goer or do you prefer watching stuff at home?
No, I love going to the theater.
Same.
I've been pretty busy recently, so like it's been a little bit few and far between, but there's nothing better. I love it.
I totally agree.
It feels like magic, and you leave the theater and you feel like, especially if it's like a movie that's, I don't know, a rom-com or it's like a thriller, like you just leave the movie with this feeling of like, I don't know, inspired or I love leaving a theater and talking to everyone I was just leaving the theater with about like what the hell was that,
I find it to be like more emotional for me when I'm in a cinema. I think a lot about, there's like a line in a Mitski song where she says, I cry at the start of every movie. And I think about that because it's how I feel when I'm in the cinema. Like today in Asteroid City, it was like the opening and this is like this one salt tear coming down my face. And I'm like, it's just that like the way it makes you feel and the fact that we get like, whether or not it's something new or something old, it's like that experience of being in a space that is dedicated to this. It's like my phone's not on. I can't pause it. It does feel like really sacred to me and I will fucking yell at someone if they're on their phone near me. So like, forget about it.
What if they're on Letterboxd?
If it's at the end of the movie, we're fine. We're golden. If credits are rolling, phones are free game, right? But if you are on your phone, like texting during a movie, like I'm walking over to you and telling you to put it away.
You're like death glare looking at them.
Not even. I give them 5 seconds to put it away before I go and say.
What about like loud chewing?
Chewing, I think it just comes part and parcel with popcorn. Okay. But if someone's talking, I'll be like, you gotta shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You go outside.
Respect the cinema.
100%. I'm like the cinema law enforcement for sure. Like if you're ever somewhere where people are talking or being too rowdy or like on their phones, I'm the best person to have around for sure.
We got to give you a little vest or something.
A little like cinema security.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite comfort films?
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Beautiful film.
Big time. Big like New York film for me as well. I think that like if I'm ever feeling like down, that's the kind of thing I want to put on. I feel that way about a lot of those kinds of movies, like your like comfort things like Princess Diaries and Mean Girls because like they make you feel good. It's like popcorn, right? Other comfort films for me are probably like a big one for me is Point Break.
That's a great movie. I actually rewatched it recently.
It's one of my favorite films and it's like, it's so high stakes, but when you know what happens, it's not. So it's really comforting to watch something like that. And another one for me is definitely Top Gun because it was my dad's favorite film. So like I watched that and it's just like through and through, like it just reminds me so much of him, which is really fun.
I love that.
Yeah. What about you? What are your comfort go-tos?
Let me think. I love a dumb, funny movie. Like I'm a sucker for like stupid. So I love like Superbad to me actually is really a comfort movie because it reminds me of that time in my life when I first watched it. It reminds me of just like fucking around with my friends.
I think it's those movies that you can like see yourself in, like that you see parts of yourself in that just give you that extra bit of comfort.
Yeah.
I forgot my actual like true comfort movie, which is one I watch on a plane every time, which is Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just what other movie feels like eating warm soup than seeing like Keira Knightley and Matthew McFadden? Nothing.
Nothing's better. That is a beautiful film.
It is comfort.
I love Keira Knightley. I love like looking at her face. I think she has such a distinct
beautiful.
look. Yeah.
She's so beautiful. Yeah. I like her in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, that's a comfort movie.
I think that she said that she showed it to her daughter and her daughter was like, "You look too pretty in that." Isn't that cute?
That's so sweet.
I know.
That's a comfort movie for sure. I felt like there was a period where it was always on TV, and so I watched it a million times.
Yeah.
What's an unmade film you wish you could see, premise-wise?
I really would love to see. So my favorite painter is a woman called Hilma af Klint.
Okay.
She's super famous for creating this work that just was really before its time. She's a Swedish painter, and her work, she like asked that her work be locked away for like 80 years or something until she died, so that, you know, because she felt that it was too far ahead of the time. She was really into spiritualism, and she was just like a bit of a cool little art witch. And her artwork was found like hella long after she actually, like the time frame which she actually wanted it to be kept away from. And it's these amazing, huge scale artwork that I think would be really beautiful on screen. Like I'm imagining like an Alicia Vikander kind of style, like period romance. She has this romance with like this woman that she was in art college with, and that's kind of like my like benchmark of a film that I'd love to see made. The other one I'd love would be like a Titanic out of space.
Okay. I love that.
What about you?
A movie that I would like to see made. I would love a movie. I'm like someone who's very prideful of the places I've lived. I love like loving the city I'm in.
Yeah.
And I'm from San Jose in the Bay Area, and I would love to see a movie all about San Jose.
Like a San Jose Ladybird kind of style?
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Like a Sacramento love story, but for San Jose.
Exactly. Like not necessarily on the nose about, just like Lady Bird. Like it's all the spots that I would go to. And
like got that nostalgia.
Exactly. That would make me happy. Do you remember the first film that you saw in theaters?
I don't. I definitely used to go a lot as a kid, but I don't remember what the first one was.
Do you remember your first R-rated movie?
So the first R-rated movie I ever watched was actually Mad Max, but R-rated here is different back home.
Okay.
And I remember I was probably like 11 or 12 years old, and I went to the video store and I got Mad Max, and the guy at the counter was like, "You can't rent this, you're not over 18. And so I walked out to the car and said to my dad, "They won't let me get Mad Max." And my dad was like, "Fucking wait here." And he went in and rented Mad Max for me. So that was the first R-rated film that I got from the video store and watched. Brilliant movie and very Australian.
Huh, yeah. Mine is Austin Powers.
That's rated R?
No, that's PG-13. I think that was my first PG-13. Right?
I mean, it'd probably be rated R now with like censorship here, but like.
That's a good question. Yeah, I guess that's probably PG-13. Shaggy, baby. I don't know. I'm going to do a quick smash or pass list.
Love it.
The Elephant Man.
Pass.
Polanski.
Pass, big time.
Oh my God, you're wearing a sweater. John Cassavetes.
Fucking smash, big time. I don't think there'd be anyone that would not smash.
The Car from Titan.
Smash.
Agreed. Agnes Varda.
Smash.
Peter Falk.
Smash.
Spike Jonze.
Smash.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Smash, but does that also, like, smashing if I can, like, get the segue into his daughter, Sophia?
Yeah. I think it works like that. Yeah. Gina Rowlands in A Woman Under the Influence.
Smash.
The Monster from Possession.
Smash.
With enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Werner Herzog.
Oh, smash, 100%.
Klaus Kinski.
Is it with Werner Herzog at the same time? Is that a double smash?
Can be.
Sure. Smash.
Woody Allen.
Absolute pass.
Good
piss
answer.
on his grave.
The only answer. Quentin Tarantino in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Pass. Like, you don't even have to finish that. It's a pass.
Bong Joon-ho.
Smash.
Smash, baby. Edward Yang.
Smash.
Spike Lee.
Smash.
Vincent Gallo.
Pass.
Abel Ferrar.
Pass. Because he fucking did Piero Pasolini dirty with that movie he made about him. Big time pass.
Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now.
Oh, dude, he's like so fucking slimy. No, this is a pass.
Well, I think that wraps up today's episode.
How exciting.
I loved having you.
I loved being here.
This was great. Do you have any socials, your Letterboxd, or projects you'd like to plug?
I do. I'm on Letterboxd. You can find me at Madeleine Winter on Letterboxd. And if you follow me, I'm going to follow you back and go through your top 4 and judge you about it. But you can judge me on mine too.
We love to judge here.
Yeah.
Oh, movie recommendations?
Let me just say my Letterboxd top 4 because I think that those are the 4 movies that I think everyone should watch. And that is Moonstruck, Somewhere, Crash, and 3 Women. Those are my top 4 that everyone should get into. And support your local independent cinema. Big time, please.
Hell yes. Okay. Well, thank you again. And now it's time for you to get lost.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to follow our Instagram at It's Intermission Time and share with your friends. As always, Intermission is produced by Jazeel Chu and Olivia Deaton, directed by Kaden LaRocque, and of course, hosted by yours truly, Megan Braun. Be sure to say your prayers and visit the synagogue on all platforms.